Good evening, folks. If I can request your attention. So here's a short story to get us started. Thank you. Folks, I really appreciate your attention. I'm going to start with a short story. So I belong to a family of 50,000 plus teammates. And that family of 50,000 teammates' purpose is to inspire and build better lives and communities. That family is Truist, and I'm one of those 50,000 plus teammates. My name is Raj Bhardwaj. Thank you. I also have the distinct pleasure and privilege of serving on the board of the World Affairs Council of Charlotte. After having spent a little over 10 years in New York, I've moved to Charlotte 18 years ago, and this is home, just like for all of you. How lucky are we to call Charlotte our home, and how lucky are we to have organizations like the World Affairs Council of Charlotte. The World Citizen Award dinner is a truly special occasion because it gives us an opportunity to recognize an exceptional individual who's made extraordinary accomplishments and contributions to placing Charlotte on the global map and enhancing our global reputation. That person is none other than Johnny Harris. And today, we collectively celebrate Johnny's vision, friendship, and leadership. Please enjoy a dinner. Let me invite our fearless president and CEO, Lubomir, or LJ Stambuk, who all of you love, to walk through our logistics. Thank you.
That was not in the script, the love part, but thank you, Raj. I really appreciate it. So I'm Lubomir Stambuk, LJ Stambuk, and I'm honored to serve you as your CEO for the past 17 years. This annual event, the World Citizen Award Dinner, and all our programming throughout the year are in furtherance of the World Affairs Council Charlotte's mission to be a catalyst for global education and thinking in our region, at the community level, at the teacher level, and at student levels. Please refer to your program for the many ways, with all of your continued support and dedication, many ways that we're making a difference in our community. It's a big task, but we undertake it knowing that you are the wind at our back always. We hope you leave tonight as inspired and energized as we are at the board and administrative levels of our council. This evening's program will consist of two parts. The first being recognition of several important individuals who are instrumental in carrying out our collective mission, including the World Affairs Council board member, Dr. David Callaway, who is the recipient of the 2023 Harold P. Josephson Award. Yay! Well deserved. The second and the primary reason for this celebration tonight will be to honor Johnny Harris with the 2023 World Citizen Award. But recognizing all of you here tonight is very important to us as well. So before Raj and I take momentary leave from the podium, we want to invest a few minutes to highlight some of the many people who have played a special part in supporting the mission of the World Affairs Council of Charlotte and in making this evening possible. Now let me pause here for a second and invite you all to start eating. Please do start eating while I talk. You can look at the monitor, but do enjoy your dinner. The slides now appearing have the names of some of those people. I will ask you to hold your applause until the end, at which time I will ask you all to give them a thunderous collective applause. If your name appeared on these slides, or if it should be on these slides, please stand up and be recognized by your grateful World Affairs Council family. So we'll start with the previous World Citizen Award recipients attending here tonight. We're very honored and pleased to have with us tonight 6 prior recipients of the World Citizen Award. We thank these recipients again for all their contributions to our community and for attending tonight. I will call them out: Hugh McCall Jr., Lily Robichek, Sandra Levine, Michael Tarwater, Tony Zeiss, and Pat Rogers. Thank you for being here with us tonight. Dinner co-chairs. Thank you to distinguished dinner co-chairs whose efforts were immeasurable. World Affairs of Charlotte Council board members. Of course, the Council's board was instrumental in this undertaking, and we're very grateful for their leadership of the World Affairs Council. This is our board. The dinner committee worked diligently to make connections and assist in the planning and logistics. I would like to use this opportunity to especially thank Dr. Marie-Claire Maroon for her wonderful flower arrangements tonight. Yay! World Affairs Council Charlotte team, volunteers and members, thank you to the World Affairs Council Charlotte team and to the volunteers here that helped us make the magic happen this evening. Thank you. So let's give them all the thunderous applause that I referred to. Thank you all for all you have done. Thank you. Now, while you're eating, please do pay attention to this slide. This is the slide with the names of those who were generous 2023 World Citizen Award dinner sponsors. Without their help, we would not have the dinner tonight. So, envoy sponsors, thank you. Deloitte and Lanier Material Sales. Consul sponsors, thank you all. And emissary sponsors, thank you so very much. Charge d'affaires sponsors, wow. And finally, the media partner, Charlotte Business Journal, thank you for being here tonight and being a partner of the World Affairs Council of Charlotte. Without you all, we wouldn't be able to open the world to Charlotte and Charlotte to the world. I would like to thank you, and we'll be back starting with the program. Enjoy your dinner, and again, have a wonderful, wonderful evening in celebrating Johnny Harris and all he has done for us. Thank you.
It's awesome to see that old friends. It's awesome to see that old friends and new friends are enjoying dinner as well as each other's company. As we resume our celebration of Johnny Harris, we thought, let's give you briefly a glimpse into a couple of dimensions of the World Affairs Council of Charlotte, amongst many, many of the Council's facets. So with that, every year at this event, we like to celebrate our educators. And so let me invite LJ back on stage to recognize our Council Award recipients, our scholars for the year. Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a little bit of a problem. There is a large crowd here tonight, and if we don't all stop talking, other people will not hear what we have to say here in celebration of the award recipients. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you the Council Scholars Program for Teachers. One of the unique features of the World Affairs Council is that we actually talk and engage with each other on global issues and considerations. Thank you. That's better. That dialogue takes place amongst very eclectic people at numerous different levels. Some of the most pivotal people in that mix are the teachers in our community. Experiencing new people and places can help teachers gain perspectives that are invaluable in the classrooms. Over the years, our Council Scholar Program has enabled those experiences for over 150 teachers from over 75 schools in Mecklenburg and surrounding counties, and they went to over 50 countries worldwide. 50 countries worldwide. These grants open the world to these teachers, who in turn open new worlds for their students. Please bring the teachers to the stage. As the teachers receiving scholarships this year come on stage for a brief introduction, we want to thank those on the screen for their unfailing support of the Council Scholar Program, and especially thank the Margaret Gregg Bissell Endowment, which has set aside long-term funding for this program. These sponsors, alongside Margaret and Smokey Bissell, include Bank of America, Atrium Health, Novant Health, UNC Charlotte, and Albemarle Corporation. Thank you so very much for supporting our teachers. They are our future, and they educate our future. So allow me a couple of brief minutes to introduce these great teachers to you. Meredith Blake Sumrell is from Quail Hollow Middle School, and she's going to Mexico. Karina Cordero Brossi is from Arboruc Christian Academy, and she's going to Portugal. Asari Ekpenyang is from Rocky River High School, and he's going to France. She's going to France. Simon Kelty is from Charlotte Country Day School, and he's going to Ghana. Alexis Magnum is from J.M. Alexander Middle School and going to Spain. Lydia McAllister Ferguson is from Nord Academy of World Languages going to Germany. Jason Nino is from the South Academy of International Languages going to Spain. Carolyn Rod, Collingswood Language Academy going to Mexico. Well-deserved for all our teachers. Natalie Gonzalez Morales, Collingswood Language Academy, going to Mexico. Griselda Perez, Collingswood Language Academy, going to Mexico. Rachel Whitlock, Albemarle Road Elementary School, going to Ecuador. And finally, King Gaza Providence Day School, going to Israel. Thank you so very much all. We need to get a photo. Thank you. Thank you all. Great teachers, great future for Charlotte and the region. So we come to the award portion. The Harold P. Josephson Award is named after the renowned international scholar and professor who was instrumental in founding our council some 40 years ago at UNC Charlotte. By the way, our offices, the offices of the World Affairs Council of Charlotte, are at UNC Charlotte, and I would like to use this opportunity to thank Chancellor Sharon Gaber and Joel Gallegos, Associate Professor for International Programs. We really appreciate your strong, ongoing partnership with the World Affairs Council of Charlotte. Thank you, UNC Charlotte. Thank you. This award is given annually to an individual who exemplifies the spirit of Professor Josephson and who has contributed significantly to the mission of the World Affairs Council of Charlotte. This year's recipient is a long-standing board member of the Council and a person who has made innumerable contributions to the Council on local and world stages, Dr. David Callaway. Yay, that's what I was waiting for. When you hear what he has done, you will give him a huge applause a little bit later. To assist us in recognizing this year's honoree, it's my pleasure to introduce to you a man who both needs no introduction and who has watched Dave in the trenches, and that is Mr. Gene Woods, the CEO of Atrium Health. Please give a warm welcome to Gene Woods. Gene.
Thank you, LJ, for that introduction. Good evening, everyone. It's an honor here to be with you today to celebrate the incredible work of the World Affairs Council of Charlotte that has connected the Queen City with global parts around the world. Tonight I have the pleasure of presenting the Harold P. Josephson Award, which is given to individuals who have made substantial contributions to the World Affairs Council and the Charlotte community. This recognition goes to an individual every year who exemplifies what it means to be a global citizen and helps connect Charlotte to the greater international community. And so this evening, it is my sincere privilege to be here to honor someone that I have worked closely with for the past 7 years, Dr. David Callaway. Dr. David Callaway is an ER physician. He is our Chief Crisis and Sustainable Officer, and he's on the World Council Board, as was just mentioned. But here's what you should know. For those that don't know David Callaway, this is the kind of guy that if you're in battle, whether battling a pandemic, whether battling for our country, or whether battling for your life in the emergency room, you want him in your corner. A former Navy combat physician, David has spent over 2 decades leading multidisciplinary teams in the most complex of situations and challenging of environments. In fact, if there's a medical crisis somewhere in the US or somewhere around the globe, he is typically on somebody's speed dial because he's recognized as an expert in health security, crisis response, and emergency trauma care. More specifically, since 2015, David has served as Chief Medical Officer for Team Rubicon, a military, veteran-led humanitarian organization that serves global communities before, during, and after a disaster, working closely with the World Health Organization. In doing so, his work has led him to serve in places like Guatemala, Dominica, Greece, Jordan, South Sudan, Haiti, and the Kingdom of Kuwait. In fact, just earlier this year, when I was doing one of my normal Zoom calls with David, I noticed that there was something different about his background. And when I asked him where he was deep in Ukraine somewhere, helping the people there in an area that was overtaken by the Russians several weeks later. While he has served across the globe, I'm equally appreciative for the work that he's done right here in Charlotte. As our Chief of Crisis and Sustainability, as an extraordinarily gifted leader, and as a clinician who has literally saved thousands of lives. Now, there's a lot of stories I can tell you about David, but let me share just a few. One memory I'll never forget is when the pandemic hit and I was rounding our hospital several weeks when it was announced. I met David outside of the emergency room in front of our CMC hospital. And I wanted to get a firsthand glimpse from him in terms of how things were going. And, you know, he had a hat, he had won a baseball hat, and it was actually on backwards. And what it read was, Audante Fortuna Uat. So I asked him what that meant, and he said it was Latin for fortune favors the bold. And I think if there's anything that captures Dr. David Callaway, is that. In fact, at the beginning of the pandemic, I remember that he had already set up a large tent in the parking lot that was staffed by active duty military and Team Rubicon members in a matter of days. They began screening patients in their cars and in tents before we even had any direction from the CDC that was protocol. That particular day, I also remember him taking me to a conference room that was converted into a war room. There you saw large computer screens, you saw dry erase boards, there was large video monitors that was giving us real-time data on how the virus was spreading. And what struck me most was there were sayings up on the walls. One saying said, and these were the 8 rules of the war room. One said, be kind. Another said, think 5 steps ahead. But there was one saying that threw me, and that was, change your socks. So I asked him what it meant to change your socks and why it was in the war room. And he explained that it was a military expression, meaning make sure your team members take care of themselves. They stop, rest for breaks, and never forget to eat. Because our Atrium teammates were working 16 hours a day, and he wanted to remind them to take care of themselves so they could take care of other people. So I could tell you many more vignettes about this person who I've come to respect and appreciate for the past 7 years. But finally, let me just say this, that I think you can imagine the hours that David contributes are long, unpredictable. And there's one thing I know for sure about David is that he draws strength from his family. And his wife, Jenny, is here as well with him. Jenny, can you please stand up and be recognized? Jenny is also an ER physician, and she's also a proud breast cancer survivor. Further, I know what drives Dave most is to make this world better for his 2 daughters, Elizabeth and Liliana. And without question, because of David and Jenny's example, I know that their daughters will grow up to make their own amazing contribution to the world. So can you please join me in welcoming Dr. David Callaway to the stage?
So we hereby present to Dr. David Callaway the 2023 Harold Josephson Award.
Man, these are some big font here, Gene. All right, can you hear me in the back? If you can hear me in the back and I can hear you, Mackenzie Thielman is going to come and smack. There she is. Everyone turn around, Mackenzie. Thank you. So, ready? Here we go. I'm going to get my mic here. So thank you, Lumir. Thanks to the Board of World Affairs Council for the award. But more importantly than this award, which is really shared by everyone on the board, thank you to all the board members for your friendship, your guidance, your mentorship over the years. When Jenny and I moved down here in 2010, I wasn't quite sure about moving to the South. I'm a Yankee. I'm a damn Yankee actually now because I've been here more than a decade. But the World Affairs Council was one of the things that really drew us here. The amazing community, the people it brings together, really became an anchor for our family over the last 12 years. Thank you to my wife, Dr. Jenny Callaway, the real Dr. Callaway, both for inspiring me, supporting my work that often, far too often takes me from home, and frankly for tolerating all of my BS. My daughter was very upset about me saying BS because she said everyone would know what that means, but every day Jenny's actions remind me of the words of this Irish-American poet named Pat Fleming, that in life we should try to understand the ones that no one cares to know and to make them feel some value when the world has let them go. So thank you, Jenny. Most importantly, thank you to my mother, Barb Callaway. Barb, can you stand up for a moment? So Barb grew up in South Bend, Indiana, Hoosier. First in her family to go to college, went to nursing school, got an international business degree, opened an art gallery, Arts of Asia. She raised me to be curious about the world and not just to tolerate the differences, but actually to celebrate them and to seek them out. She probably inadvertently also nurtured my, shall we say, a healthy distaste for the status quo. And she gave me my first international experience when I was 11. She took me on a trip to the Netherlands and then to Amsterdam for a Van Gogh tour. And I don't remember one brushstroke or one museum, but I kept for 20 years this pink and purple feathered boa that this very nice older woman gave to me in a bar in the red light district when she bought me a Heineken. So Mom, nobody escapes tonight. Thank you for that experience. And then here's the suck up ass kissing piece of this. Thanks to my boss, Gene Woods. Thanks for taking the reins off and letting me run, letting our teams run, providing top cover as colleagues like Dave Pearson and Keneal Coleman who are here really just burst through the walls of fear and inertia during the COVID pandemic, made changes to the way we care for people, to how people can get access to voting, to how we address community violence, and then how we address climate change, which is one of the things we're working on right now. And thanks for the support even after the White House salad incident, which will remain off the record for right now. So in my intro, you in the back, you guys were all drinking and talking, so you probably didn't hear it. But there was some ugly stuff, right? Like war zones, humanitarian crises, climate change, like really serious stuff. But the value of living in an international community like ours is the beauty. And it's the beauty that's all around us. It's salsa dancing like my wife did with Dancing with the Stars. It's fresh sashimi. It's pastries from Manolo's Bakery. It's really good Burgundy, Yuri, and even better bourbon. Right? It's the Dia de los Muertos celebration at Collinswood Language Academy. It's experiencing the Northern Lights in Norway. It is running your hands along the pink sandstone of Petra in Jordan. It's eating pizza, where'd LJ go? Eating pizza with LJ and Natasha in Dubrovnik with some local baker that they know, and having my children get to learn a little bit of Croat speak and actually eat some really good food. So last week, and this is going to be under 5 minutes so you guys can just keep eating and drinking. The more you drink, the better I sound. Atta girl. Hey, so last week I had one of these experiences, one of these like powerful and clarifying experiences that really the World Affairs Council is about. I had the unique opportunity to go to Greenland with a group of about 15 people from the World Economic Forum, and we went on this climate change expedition. And our group included basically like this audience. We had a reinsurance CEO. I didn't even know what reinsurance was. We had a finance guy. We had NGO leaders. We had entrepreneurs. We had a blind Indian macroeconomist, the first blind economist to graduate from Wharton. And we had this kick-ass climate scientist. And we went through and we learned about the science of climate change and some of the options that we have to make this difference. And when we got done with it, I listened to these leaders from Bangkok and Hong Kong and Bahrain and Sao Paulo and London and Buenos Aires, and they all came to the same conclusion. They're like, look, man, the world's complex. Our survival depends on, I'm reading this quote from them, finding a way to align key players in the private sector, the health sector, nonprofits, innovators, the health system, academics, government. And then my buddy from Bangkok said, that's a pipe dream, good luck with that. And all I could think of, I started laughing because I do this, maybe a symbol of my insanity, but I do this with complex problems. I just thought about Charlotte. I thought about Jean, I thought about Dina. Where's Dina Diorio? Dina, wherever you are. I thought about Dina Diorio. I thought about Harvey Gantt. I thought about Johnny Harris. I thought about Hugh McCall. These people who built this city with great vision to be able to incorporate all the best from the world. And I thought about what we did during COVID. I thought about the Pearl, the new innovation district that's going to bring companies from around the world to drive healthcare innovation. And I thought about this room. I knew I was going to be talking to you guys. I've been here for 5 years. And I thought about the massive financial, social, human capital that we have in this room and in Charlotte. This small southern town that's now the symbol of the New South. Big enough to matter, but small enough to manage. But what if we took the next step? What if we became the city or the community for the future? We, especially y'all in this room, hey, if you guys, you're paying for your rooms, you're paying for your tables, I'm talking to you. You all have the ability to make this a better place for our kids. What if our city became the city of the future? Equitable, welcoming, innovative, sustainable, a community that harnesses thousands of incoming points of light, and that's my George Bush reference there, but harnesses them from the international community, magnifies them with our capital, our human capital, and our willingness to commit here, and then projects that energy back out on the world. Think about the beacon we could become for the future. And I don't think this is a pipe dream, and I don't think this is Pollyanna, which Derek Raghavan's not here, but I had to look up that word when he said it. I think this is not excessive optimism. I think that this is our destiny in Charlotte, and I think it's the kind of destiny that the World Affairs Council wants to support. So the World Affairs Council of Charlotte, we're going to continue to do our part to connect Charlotte to the world through community engagement, through public discourse on topics that are important to our role in the world. We're going to keep sending teachers abroad, thanks to Margaret and Smokey Bissell and all of your donations. They're going to make our schools better. They're going to make our kids smarter, and they're going to make them better global citizens. And I hope that we can count on you to do your part as well. You all are the leaders in your community. And as the philosopher Ted Lasso said, and I'm going to get choked up because Ted Lasso's ending, be curious, not judgmental. Welcome your neighbors, seek out opportunities to be uncomfortable. Encourage your children to do the same. Lean into hard work with a global impact, become part of the DNA of our community, and make Charlotte the best place in the world to live, to retire, to raise kids, to have a difference, and to have impact. Take bold action in the service of others, and most importantly, continue to support the World Affairs Council of Charlotte. Thank you, everyone.
Tell it to my mom.
Okay, terrific. New friends and old friends, continue enjoying your dinner and your conversations, but the main reason we are here tonight, again, is to celebrate and recognize an exceptional individual, extraordinary accomplishments, Johnny Harris. So I'm getting last-minute instructions from LJ here.
read this first.
It's good.
It's a very formidable undertaking, Johnny. I think you know this, to describe the breadth and depth of your leadership and your accomplishments and your contributions. So to do that, I think we're going to roll a video.
Johnny has been a true citizen of Charlotte, and he's been one of the most important citizens of Charlotte.
Someone that thinks larger than large, believes that Little Charlotte can become a global city, is big enough to host global events that puts our city on the international map.
Johnny's made people know us through bringing the President's Cup here, the PGA here, through bringing the Final Four here. He's made people understand where Charlotte is and what Charlotte's about. And he's made us, truthfully, a big name in sports in this country and probably around the world, because now we're playing soccer here, we bring international soccer here. And all the things that he's involved in have benefited Charlotte in a tremendous way in terms of building our reputation as a true major city in this country.
Charlotte, in its own right, he considers it an international city, and he's always considered it. It doesn't matter what event it is, he considers it, whether it's the Olympics, whether it's the President's Cup, whether it's the PGA, whatever it is, that Charlotte deserves to have it. And that's ultimately what he does.
And so I give him credit for that, and no one else could have done that. And he's done it, as I say, largely because he believes he can do it.
And when I think about Johnny and just what Lincoln Harris has created, not just in the center city with Legacy Union and the vision there, but in the South Park area with Phillips Place and just the beautiful area that South Park has become, then all the way out to Ray Farms and what that village has come to create. It's really about the region, and this region is so blessed to have a Johnny Harris. How do we really make our home a place that other businesses will want to move to? The ACC will want to move their corporate headquarters here. It's all about quality of life, and that includes not only great sporting events, but that also includes a great corporate environment.
You know, the thing that I believe sets Johnny apart from other leaders is the variety of things that he has done. Some people are really strong business people. Some people might be really strong sports people. Some people are strong in the community. But in fact, Johnny has done all of those things. When you look at our city, you see South Park, but you also see Ballantyne, you see downtown, you see the impact there. Then you add the sports, and then you add the community. You add in Tree Charlotte, Teach for America. Johnny is very big in giving back in the community, but that's not often what people think of.
When you think about Johnny's leadership style, the truth of the matter is he's an optimist, and he spreads it like a disease. He's always positive about what can be done. And he brings other people together, and I don't know whether I could say sells them on it or makes them see it, but he spreads that optimism around, and it makes it work.
One of the things that I really admire about Johnny Harris is how he leads. He connects people from all walks of life in everything that he does. He's always teaching people, leading people, and I think we can see the impact not only in Charlotte, but throughout the state, throughout the country, and really around the world.
I think one of the interesting things about Dad is he is a true, honest character. And I think one of the things that happens is, because of his I'm gonna say it, loud and boisterous self, he brings people in, and that's how he connects people. And that's how people respect him, and that's how people, at the end of the day, get things done with him.
John is one that You know, he speaks with a powerful voice, but he's also very mild and meek in the way he carries himself. He's one that's so liked in our community because he's genuine, he's real. What you see is what you get.
Number one, he's a team builder at the end of the day. It's about finding the issue or the situation and getting the right people in the room. Certainly Dad has had an impact, there's no question. But I think in the development game, right? I mean, he's built big buildings, he's brought corporations here, he's brought people together to create some special places, whether it's South Park, Ballantyne, Uptown. He's done unbelievable. But I think the impact that he's had is on people.
He's one of those people that people are attracted to, people want to work with. He's that person that people trust to follow and know that his vision is one of those that's just so unique. It's really amazing to me the way he can think outside the box and then bring things to life. And that's really why I respect him so much. He's a friend, a great friend to a lot of us. He's been a great supporter of me personally and of our organization. Has been behind us since I got here. And then, as I think about Charlotte, for him, it's how do we make Charlotte better? How do we make the quality of life in Charlotte better?
And it's really hard for me to talk about my dad, because the impact is truly, he's my best friend. But it is truly impactful to me to watch a man have such, a presence in a place like Charlotte, but also in a state like North Carolina, a country like the United States, and on an international basis. And it's at the end of the day, it's the love of this community that I grew up with, that I still want to try to achieve as I go forward.
But what he really does the best is teach us all the art of the possible. That if you can think of it, we can do it. That's his real strength.
And I think that gives all of us confidence that are part of this community that, just like him, want to see Charlotte be the absolute best place it can be, to have the confidence that we can go out and attract global events and bring them here and host them and know that as a community we'll be successful.
And I think people are inspired by how he dreams big, but mostly how he's able to deliver that and then train people for the future. I mean, Johnny Harris has had an incredible impact here, but he's also taught people how to do this going forward so that as a community, we've got a succession plan in place. We hope he's around for the next 20 years, but people know how to lead now because of Johnny Harris.
And at the end of the day, he's asking all of us to step up because we've got to carry that torch, and that is what makes a great leader, is he forces the next generation to do that.
And when I think about the way he collaborates or brings people together, whenever any of us are hosting a major event, whether it's golf, football, basketball, NASCAR, Johnny brings us all together where we're supporting each other.
For me personally, it's been an honor to co-chair the Charlotte Sports Foundation with Johnny. I've learned so much from him as a leader and as a person, and I'm so honored to be part of this recognition for him. Congratulations, Johnny. Such a well-deserved honor that you're getting today.
A big thank you to Steve LeQuire for a spectacular video, bringing to life these heartfelt sentiments. Thank you. Since all of you are paying attention during this past video, I think we'll roll one more, and that's actually a surprise. No one knows about this, so let's roll for a special message.
Hi everybody, Governor Roy Cooper here. Congratulations to my friend Johnny Harris on receiving the World Citizen Award from the World Affairs Council of Charlotte. It'd be hard to pick a more deserving person. Johnny's a visionary leader who has the ability to see his success years and even decades before it happens. Couple that with his can-do spirit and his love for Charlotte, And you have a person who has helped make Charlotte a global destination for business, sports, and culture. And he's served in so many other ways, offering his skills to boards and organizations across the city and our state, providing them with the tools to succeed. Johnny, I'm grateful for all that you've done for Charlotte and for North Carolina. And I appreciate so much Deborah, Jono, and the whole Harris family. This is a well-deserved recognition. Congratulations, my friend. Now it's back to work for both of us.
What can I say? Our governor wanted to be part of the evening, so recognition. Well, there's a person who's had a front seat to witness Johnny's amazing accomplishments and contributions. So with that, I'd like to invite to the podium the Executive Director of the Charlotte Sports Foundation, the former President of the Carolina Panthers, Danny Morrison.
Thank you very much, and good evening. And actually, it's a great evening. It's not often one has the opportunity to introduce an icon, a living legend for both Charlotte and the Carolinas, and so that's what we get to do tonight. Think about this. Somebody moves to Charlotte today. Won't be long before they know the name Johnny Harris. And if they've been involved, it's impossible for them not to have been touched by his involvement or some of his influences. He simply makes good things happen. He's made a lot of good things happen over his career, so many on the civic side, so many on the community side, so many on the business side, so many on the sports side. So we'll talk about a few of the sports sides. It was some 6 decades ago where the family farm, they carved out the Quail Hollow, the outstanding Quail Hollow Club. Amazing golf course, brought the 1969 Kemper Open to Charlotte. Palmer, Nicklaus, Player, Trevino, Weiskopf, all names in golf that we know. And what they did was they opened the door to Charlotte for not only in the nation, but also the world. Amazing. Then, other things happened. Let's go to the 1994 Final Four. At that time in Charlotte, the Uptown wasn't as vibrant. There wasn't a lot of things to do at night in the Uptown. And Johnny Harris and Steve Luquire and others go to Michigan to pitch the Final Four coming to Charlotte in 1994, and this was a few years earlier. So at that time, the Coliseum, of course, was at Tyvola, not a whole lot to do in the Uptown, and they sold the NCAA committee on coming to Charlotte. Vision. Then they were able to execute. Vision and execution. They had a temporary hospitality entertainment district, and everybody had a wonderful time in Charlotte for that Final Four, which then triggered the 1996 Women's Final Four. Another rousing success, and all the college events that we have that we are able to experience here in Charlotte come from those 2 tournaments, which were fabulous. The Kemper Open became the Wells Fargo, which is one of the best tournaments in the country. It's a designated tournament. It gets the best players in the world. Then in 2017, the PGA, a major, a rousing success, so successful, in fact, that it's already coming back, which normally doesn't happen in 2025. And then the global stage last year of the 2022 President's Cup, televised to over 200 countries in 25 different languages. Johnny loves to showcase Charlotte. So now it's our time to salute him, one of the great ambassadors for Charlotte. Delightful, unique, ultimate team player. He might say the ultimate partner. That's what he would say. So he's a man that embraces all walks of life, all walks of life. And as he embraces all of these walks of life, he really has one quest in mind, and that's to make Charlotte the most wonderful city in the country to both to live, work, and play. Congratulations, Johnny.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wow. I'm not sure those of you in the back could hear the video as well as I could, but it was truly, I wasn't prepared for that. I also wasn't prepared for David Callaway, and I clearly have met Charlotte's conscience when he got up and talked about how we need to make this place special. So David, again, congratulations to you. Danny, thank you for your kind introduction. You know, I remember when Steve Luquire and I were talking about how do we make the Charlotte Sports Foundation truly special? And we debate who really said it first, so I'm going to give it to Steve the credit. Luquire said what we ought to do is go get Danny Marson to come run it. And I'm telling you, within 24 hours, we had a good idea that Danny was going to come and be with us, and we knew we were headed in the right direction. And so, Danny, thank you for your leadership and the Sports Commission and your kind remarks. Let me also say thank you to the World Fairs Council for this wonderful honor. I really am deeply appreciative. You know, at some point I remember, you know, John Belk used to say, if you live long enough, they'll give you a some award. So I want to tell you, I could tell stories about that man that would, you know, but anyway, I will tell you too that I wasn't prepared for the video. I'm sincerely touched by it. I'm sorry some of you couldn't hear it, but those people in that video are heroes of mine. Hugh is unquestionably the architect of modern day Charlotte. Without him, every time we clap for Hugh, I do a special clap because there were 2 or 3 times when Smokey and I had a wreck and we needed some help financially, and he was always there and we loved him for it. I just want you all to know that. I also think about Fred Whitfield and Andrea because they're the foundation, or they're the foundational leaders of this community. And they are people who make a difference, who touch people everywhere, all over this great community. They think strategically, they're smart, they're powerful ambassadors for us all. Likewise, what can I say? I really wasn't expecting Jono's remarks, and I guess, yes, you should know, I also consider Jono my best friend. I particularly enjoyed Fred referencing my mild and meek personality. I know there are people in this room that didn't hear that. Let me say those characteristics are not usually associated with my name. I must be getting softer with old age. It may surprise you that when I was at Chapel Hill, the University of North Carolina, I played lacrosse. And in the preseason of those years, our coach used to make us all run a mile in under 6 minutes to prove we were in shape. I always tried to save some of my energy to run that last quarter mile as fast as I could to try to show him that I was in shape, but that I was going to make it all the way. Tonight's event made me think back a little bit to that college experience and reflect on the last mile of one's life, last quarter mile of one's life. In the late stages, it's important to continue running that last portion as fast as you possibly can. While it's human nature to look back on the earlier successes, it is even more important, even critical, when we focus on the future. We need to build on past successes like we've done recently by adding an expansion runway, or we're in the process of adding the runway expansion to our airport. You do not understand, over the last 50 years, that is one of the 3 or 4 most single important things that have ever happened to this community. And now I want to say to you, we are living another example of building on our past successes. And we're doing that with our medical facilities in Charlotte and with the new med school that we're going to call the Pearl. That is unquestionably the next exciting thing we're going to do to make this a great city. The future is where we have a chance to make the greatest impact, a positive impact, new horizons and new opportunities. In my lifetime, there has been incredible and constant change in our community. We evolved from a mid-sized community in the Piedmont part of our state, somewhat, I love the way I said somewhat, disassociated with other regions. They didn't like us, so we were disassociated, to a thriving major financial and transportation hub for the Carolinas and the U.S. with important international connections. Very different. Just 30 years ago, think about it, just 30 years ago, how different it was. I remember when Hugh McCall and I talked Roger Milliken into coming up here to help us convince Lufthansa to come be the first international flight from our airport to Europe. That was a long time ago, and that was just building on past successes. So again, Hugh, you were in everything we ever did right. You always was there. Were always there with us. There was a time in the past when Charlotte was dependent on those who grew up here. Not today. The vast majority of you in this audience grew up elsewhere. You lived in other states. Then you moved to our great city. Because of this phenomenon, we're better off. New blood, new ideas, a new true diversity that provides fresh energy and wonderful new opportunities for this great community. Many say I'm an optimist. Obviously, you heard Hugh say that. I am, and I'm optimistic about the future of this great city. How could we not be optimistic about what's ahead, living in Charlotte? As we move forward, we cannot construct boundaries. We cannot allow boundaries to restrict who participates in making this the great city it can become. No one should be excluded. No one should be left behind. We truly put our best interest of our children, if we truly put the best interest of our children, our community ahead of our own self-interest, all ships will rise. That's a worthy goal. That's a goal we need to focus on, a goal we must achieve. All ships must rise together with this great city. As you look ahead, we can all see the possibility. The future is bright, no matter where you are in life's race, at the beginning, halfway through, or closing in on that final quarter mile. It's all our responsibilities to run a positive race and be the best we can be. I thank you for this award, and I'll ask you to join with me and everybody else in this room to make this the greatest city in the world. Thank you.
Okay, we said it's going to be fast-paced and we'll stick to our schedule. Again, Johnny, on behalf of the World Affairs Council of Charlotte, a hearty congratulations on being the World Citizen Award recipient for 2023. With that, I hope all of you have enjoyed the evening, meeting old friends and new friends. Safe drive back home. Really appreciate your engagement, your participation, your support, your friendship. Take care, everybody. Have a great evening. Thank you.